Oh, Dr. Beeching, what have you done? There once was lots of trains to catch, and soon there will be none. You'll have to buy a bike, or you'll have to buy a car. Oh, Dr. Beeching, what a naughty boy you are! I don't know what that was. There was some kind of heavy metal remix of Oh, Dr. Beeching, but... hey guys, it's me, Little Al, back again with another reaction. We are back with Stories of Sodor, and before we do get into that, two things. One, my video count has officially reached triple figures. That's right, this is my 100th video on my channel, which I will put on the thumbnail, which I will put in the title and the thumbnail. And I just want to say a massive thank you to you guys, because it's because you guys are watching my content that I have the motivation to upload upload that amount of videos, especially in such a short time, because I've not even reached a year on YouTube yet, and already I've uploaded 100 videos, which is just nuts to think about it. I really feel like I've made my mark, even though they aren't the most popular thing in the world, my channel, at least at the moment. But no, as you could probably tell, the woofer is back. Yes, that's right. I've brought my dog back with me for us another reaction. I said I was gonna do so I'm gonna bring her in for special occasions, so like finales and like reaction milestones. But I would like to ask if you want her to become a permanent addition to my Stories of Sodor reactions. That can easily be arranged. But no, like, as you can probably tell from that atrocious intro, we are watching Beeching, which is the next episode of Stories of Sodor, and which, as you could probably tell, if you know your railway history, then you could probably tell it's going to be about the notorious Dr. Beeching, who, if you're not aware of who he is, basically he shut down he was a massive initiator of the modernisation plan for British Railway back in the 60s. So he shut down a lot of branch lines, scrapped a lot of steam engines, and so it's interesting seeing him come into play in the Thomas universe, because most have depicted him as much of a villain, like none more so than Cactus. I can't remember the number. He's got like a load of numbers, but it's like 1907 or something like that. But his Halloween specials, he depicted Dr. Beeching as a major baddie. Like, he's obviously not as bad as Steam Engine, but you know, he's a fairly controversial fit. You can imagine, like, considering his main job is scrapping engines, and like the way he did it, you can imagine just the controversy surrounding him as a figure, especially like putting him in the Thomas universe. But last episode was really good. I'm just saying, like, last episode was a massive step up from Revelations. But it just had such good writing, compelling conflict, and also it was just so interesting, really. Like, I really felt connected to the characters last episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode as much as I did. And here's to another good one. So drop the video a like if you enjoy. Here's to 100 videos and the return of my dog to my reactions. And let's get going in 3, 2, 1.
The train, for its type, is the most powerful vehicle on land. And the engines of Sodor are the power behind the docks, industries and branch lines that make up the world-renowned Northwestern Railway.
I'm not sure if it's picking it up, but she has a tendency to do these little like she has whenever you kind of move her or something. I'm not sure if you heard that, but she kind of has a tendency to do kind of like pop, kind of oink like a pig. Like she just makes a lot of pig noises for some reason.
These are the Stories of Sodor.
I'm looking forward to this one, I'm not gonna lie. You guys have been showing so much love towards this series, I'm only glad to continue doing it. I just want to make that clear. But anyways, Beeching.
I think I can say without exaggeration then, the long distinguished history of Britain's railways, few names are as reviled as Dr. Richard Beeching. A physicist and engineer by trade, he was appointed BR's chairman in 1962. By this time, the company was in crisis. Costs were skyrocketing, business was declining, and public dissatisfaction with the network was at an all-time high. Beeching had the unenviable task of turning its fortunes around, and he sought to do this by implementing massive layoffs and closures. And I'm sorry to say, Sodor would not be spared. He personally visited the island to oversee its reorganization, which began on the main line. First, the yards at Carlton and Crosby were closed. Lower Knapford suffered the loss of its yard and the oil depot. Elsbridge Harbour was shut down alongside a number of smaller goods stations. He then turned his attention to the branches, which made many of us nervous. It was no secret.
I do find it interesting though, kind of how much the infrastructure and layout of Sodor changes throughout the Stories of Sodor. I think that's something that Victor does keep consistent throughout his series, and here I can imagine there's going to be like major changes.
The good doctor thought branch lines were BR's greatest loss maker. Even the Waterton branch, which was still under construction, was subject to cuts. Its original plans for providing goods services were rigorously streamlined, meaning yards and depots that had already been built were now going to go unused. So we've wasted 7 months of construction? That's ridiculous. What?
Didn't really like that audio cut, that music cut. Sorry, it just felt way too abrupt for my liking. Normally he fades it out a little bit, or just kind of shows the engines in the scene before fading the music out. So I'm not sure. I don't know either. Like his audio editing has taken a little bit of a hit. Like I was talking to someone about that in the comments section. His audio editing has taken a bit of a hit, Victor Tanzig, and I don't really know why. Like normally, like you'd think, like everything else about the series has just gotten better and better, but for some reason the audio is just.
It's ridiculous as the number
worse.
of goods facilities included on this branch when demand for such traffic has only been declining. Not to mention we have been hemorrhaging money providing such services. Beg pardon, sir, but maybe that.
I love his voice for Beeching. That's so kind of smarmy. Oh my god.
That could have been avoided if we weren't bound by that ridiculous common carrier status. That requirement has since been abolished, but it's too little too late. If the railways want to regain their position as the premier carriers of Britain, we need to downsize and rebuild slowly. Beg pardon again, sir, but if we downsize any further, trains will soon be pulled by horses. Duck! It's all right, Sir Topham, I've heard worse. At least this one was polite in his insubordination. We're done here. I'm satisfied with the changes made. Shall we carry on? By your lead, Doctor.
That's one thing I do love about Duck. He's always his politeness and his subordination.
I shall talk to you later.
He's not Sir Handel.
Oh dear, I'm in trouble now. Yep, but you were right to call him out. I can't believe the Fat Controller hasn't done more to stand up to him. What can he do with? He's not chairman of the railway board anymore. Besides, I hear berating the good doctor is a surefire way to get the axe, and we don't need to antagonize him before he comes to our branch, do we? No, definitely not. Yes, about that. Thomas mentioned your branch hasn't been doing too well the past few years. That's an understatement. Our passenger numbers are so small we now only use Annie and Clarabelle, and goods traffic is virtually non-existent since most of the industries along our line have closed down. Why do you think we're the ones you've been helping out around here? Because we have the time. Bust my buffers, I can't believe I never realized this. What about the quarry? Is that still open? It's literally the only thing keeping us going. That and the tourist trade. Whether that will be enough to save us from the chop, we'll have to wait and see. What happened? One of the rock crushers broke down. That looks a little more severe than a breakdown. Call it what you want, it's completely inoperable and beyond repair. It'll need to be replaced. At least they've gotten their money's worth out of it. That's one of the original crushers from when the quarry first opened, you know. I do know. Me and Toby were the ones who brought them up. And what rotten luck one should clonk out when the axeman is visiting the island. All right, you young whippersnapper, settle down. Yes, one of the crushers is...
What is going on with the eyes? Like, it was the same with Mickey, and now it's with Clive. What is going on with those eyes?
Failed, but only one. The rest are still...
Also, am I the only one very surprised that Clive is still around? I mean, he's managed to kill... I'm probably going to jinx it now, but he's killed off Worldsworth and Sudbury. He's killed off Andreas. He's not killed off Clive yet, which To be honest, I think I'm not complaining. Like, he's a very lovable character in this universe.
Running. This will impact production, but not by much. There are still trucks of stone that need to be delivered, so how about we get to it? You're right, Clive. We still have a job to do. Exactly. And who knows? Maybe Dr. Beeching will admire our determination. I think the only thing he admires is the bottom line, and ours has been rock bottom for a while. I don't see that changing. Do you know how many passengers I had on my morning commuter service? 4. You think that's bad? They actually cancelled my goods train because it wasn't economically viable. They what? Bust my...
Dr. Beeching branch line nightmares? If any of you see Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, then you'll definitely know what I mean.
Buffers.
I love that show.
In all my years, I've never heard of that happening. So many times back in the day, we wish we could turn down jobs we knew would be a loss maker. See what I mean? Nobody likes to admit it, but money is the only thing that matters in business. And if you're not making enough, then you're not impressing no one. I'm not impressed, Sir Topham. Why is that, Doctor? Because this branch hasn't made a profit in the past 4 years. I can't help but wonder if that's because of mismanagement or worker incompetence. Why are you looking at us when you say that? Johnny Cuba. Don't mention that name around me. Why not? You were the one who introduced him to the branch. Didn't you find it odd an Australian locomotive was operating in Britain? He had a very convincing story. Either that or you're extremely gullible. Dr. Beeching, that is uncalled for. And if I'm not mistaken, it was head office who assigned him here. So clearly they were aware of his presence long before we were.
So I was right, Dr. Beeching is a massive dick. Of course he is. I mean...
If anyone should be blamed for what happened, it's them. The investigation launched following that incident determined who the responsible parties were. And if I'm not mistaken, the engines on this branch were included due to their lack of diligence. We were scapegoated. Then how do you explain the underperformance of this branch line? What else could it be if not incompetence? Clerical error. The report you were given contained incorrect figures. I have an updated report right here. I have been assured the numbers in this one are accurate. Assured by whom? The same people who made the initial mistake.
Oh, he's got a point.
Well, these tell quite a different story. I'll have to double check to make sure they're correct. If they are, I see no reason to downsize the branch's goods traffic. However, the station at Abbey will have to be closed. I agree, it's lucky to get 10 people a week. Then it seems we're done here. Oi, don't we get some kind of apology? For what? For saying our incompetence is why this branch line was failing? Until I've reviewed these new figures, I can't assume you aren't at fault. You tosser! Arthur! Again, Sir Topham, I've heard far worse. I shall talk to you later.
Oh, for God's sake.
Oh, bollocks, I've done it now. Done what?
Bollocks.
Told off that git? You should get a medal for it. Fancy telling us what happened with Cuba was our fault. What's worse is he's kind of right. We did believe him pretty easily. He was a con artist, Arthur. That's what they do. Deceive people with believable lies. I suppose, but what really boils my water is that he got away.
I do worry though, because they say Cuba. It's not the last. I remember like the end of the Johnny Cuba episode that it's not the last they've seen of him. I do wonder if he's going to come and play this season, or if he's going to come into play the next season. I think it might be this season.
With it. How did he do that? And where is he now? What was that? What was what? That look. What do you know? I didn't want to say anything, but there's a rumour Cuba ripped off a Ministry of Defence supply train in the Midlands. Supply train? Are we talking guns? And bullets and bombs? Allegedly. Oh, yeah. Please don't look into this too closely. It's just a rumour. Rumour or not, I hope they catch the tosser, and they give me a few minutes alone with him.
I love it. That's such a British insult. Tosser. Like, no one's... I don't. Do any Americans use the term tosser? Do you use it at all? It's not very pleasant. I don't condone it personally, but.
Ah, you must be Edward. Yes, sir. Dr. Beeching, I presume? Indeed. Very interesting. Excuse me? I worked for the Ministry of Supply during the war. I heard about your exploits overseas. Quite remarkable considering your age. I'm no spring chicken, but I'm hardly past it. The same can be said about the railways as a whole. We'll have to agree to disagree there. This industry has been resting on its laurels for too long and has failed to adapt to the times. How can we adapt when we're lumbered with outdated regulations and shoddy modernization plans? I'll concede that you lack direction and the outside perspective necessary to see what needs to be done. And BR needs to close a third of its stations and scrap just as much of its rolling stock. It needs to withdraw passenger services from nearly 5,000 miles of track. It needs to lose 70,000 of its workers. If that's what your perspective is bringing to British Railways, I dare say we don't need it. Edward, the stations and rolling stock have the same problem. There are too many that are not being used, and the upkeep is a severe drain on BR's finances, and it doesn't make sense to keep running passenger services to places that aren't using them. As for the workers, the company is overstaffed, plain and simple, but so many people and communities depend on the railways for their livelihood. I can't think about that. In other words, you don't care. I thought you, of all fellows, could empathise. Weren't you commanding officer of your platoon? I see where you're going. It's not the same thing, isn't it? You made difficult decisions because you had to, because it needed to be done. That's what I'm doing for British Railways. As its chairman, I have an obligation to ensure it survives, regardless of the cost. Costs are exactly what I'm trying to bring down. That is what will be achieved with these cuts and future ones. Future cuts? Fizzling fireboxes. No wonder they call you the Axeman. I suppose I'll always be looked upon as the Axeman, but this is surgery, not mad shopping. You have to admire a man who stands by his convictions, not when they try and justify them with idiotic reasons.
No, I'm just imagining a Sodor short where they do a parody of the Monty Python Lumberjack song with Dr. Beeching.
Where does he get off likening what he's doing to being a military commander?
Okay.
At least none of his actions have gotten people killed. You never enjoyed it when that happened, and he can't possibly be enjoying the abuse he's getting, not when his every decision makes him that much more unpopular. So he's a true believer. Those are often the worst kind of person because they can never admit when they're wrong. I'm not so sure he is wrong, old chap. Why would you maintain assets and resources that are nothing but a drain on your business? That's just foolish. I agree. I don't much like the cuts as a whole, but I think they are necessary. I mean, when was the last time Carlton Yard was at full capacity? Exactly. And let's not forget he's doing what Parliament told him to do. Fix Britain's railways. If anything, he's as much the axeman as he is the messenger. And you know what they say about shooting the messenger? Yeah, it's always fun when you do it. I hate how much I agree with that. Me too. Evening, Sir Topham. What brings you here this late? I have 3 matters to discuss. First, I just concluded my meeting with Dr. Beeching concerning this branch line. I wanted you all to know as soon as possible that there will be no cuts made whatsoever.
What?
None? Did the doctor forget his axe? No, Bruce. He was impressed by the figures. Frankly, I'm getting tired of the disrespect being shown to the good doctor. You weren't like this when I was chairman. Due respect, sir, you weren't trying to destroy the network. And if I were, you'd be treating me with contempt? No, sir, because I don't believe for a second you'd be following his example. This might surprise you, Douglas, but the doctor is actually following my example.
What?
Excuse me, sir? Back before I became chairman, I was assigned to manage an underperforming region of the LNER. Head office told me to turn it around as soon as possible. By cutting services, facilities, and jobs, I did just that. It wasn't easy, but necessary. Dr. Beeching admitted he's modeled his approach to the methods I used. So you see, Douglas, had I remained chairman, I would likely be the axeman instead of the fat controller. Do you actually support the cuts, sir? In principle, yes. In practice, no. But it is what it is. There's little we can do but accept and adapt. That's what a really useful railway does. I hate when you use that line, sir. It always makes me agree with you. Then I should use it more often. On to the second matter. I've been informed the new crusher for the quarry has arrived and is on board the Sandworm. Edward, you will deliver it to Elsbridge tomorrow. The Farquhar engines will take it from there. Yes, sir. Now, to the third matter. Your discussion with Dr. Beeching. Yes, sir. I assume you'll talk to me later? No, Edward. I'm going to talk to you right now. Was it that bad? Worse. I didn't even consider the effect my insubordination was having on Sir Topham. It can't look good enough.
I don't know why that just really made... I don't know why that was just such a funny exchange. I don't know why. That was just so funny.
Controller if we're bad-mouthing our chairman. From what I hear, the good doctor deserves to be bad-mouthed. Oh, he does. But that doesn't make it right. Don't make my mistake, old chap. When he visits your branch, make sure to keep your mouth shut. All right, I will. We probably won't have time to be insubordinate anyway. Aye, we'll be too busy wrestling with this behemoth. I'm wondering if it'll fit through the tunnels. Then there's... Oh, no. What's wrong? Thomas! The dip! The dip! The dip?
The dip? Oh, it's the...
I can't believe I've never asked this.
Oh, it's the one from Mavis, the episode. I remember that dip, yeah.
Before, what's the point of that thing? Were they too lazy to fill in the hole? No, it's a safety feature to keep runaway trains from flying down the line. Should one ever come down from the quarry and roll into the dip, the sudden change in direction would cause it to lose momentum and slow down, or it would...
For a second there, I thought it was going to be some kind of pond, and it contained the dip from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. you know the one that kills toons. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that kills steam engines. Like, steam engines are toons, confirmed. Film theory, that shit.
Derail. Does it work like that? Oh, no, it does. Ah, I see. Why are you two in such a tizzy over it? If you brought up the original Crushers, but the dip wasn't there at the time.
His use of British terminology, like, I get it, he's Australian, and so he's a bit more, they kind of use it a bit more than Americans. He uses British slang a bit more than Americans do. But I just love his use of, like, words like tizzy and bollocks and tosser, Those last two, not so much, but... You know what I mean? It's authenticating his series using that kind of terminology. And as a British person, it makes it so much more entertaining for me.
The track level until after the Crushers had been delivered and then dug it out afterwards. I guess they didn't think they'd ever need to be replaced. There's no chance they're going to fill it in now to make our jobs easier. What do? It's a tough call. If we try taking it up, the wagon could bottom out and jam. I say we give it a try. With 2 at the front and 2 at the back, I think we can do it. Provided we go slow. Aye, we should give it a try. Come on, lads, let's show them what we've got.
I love the Series 3 incarnation of the breakdown theme. It's not good.
You saw all that, sir? We both did. Dr. Beeching admired your determination. What else did he have to say, sir? That this branch has lovely scenery. Anything else? He appreciated the lack of attitude he was shown, and so do I. If I had to tell one more engine I would talk to them later, I'd need an emergency session with Dr. Simmons. So thank you. Anything to help, sir. I'm afraid the etiquette and grit shown today wasn't much help to the branch's finances. Those can't be influenced. How bad is it, sir? There's no easy way to say this. As of the 1st of next month, all goods and passenger services along this branch will be terminated, with every station and depot closed. I see this doesn't come as a surprise to any of you. No, sir. We've actually been expecting this. What's going to happen?
Well, that explains why Farquhar never appeared from Season 5 onwards. A bit of a dark joke, but seriously, that's Thomas the Tank Engine's branch line. Jesus Christ, they're going to close that.
Sir, well, the staff will be receiving generous redundancy payments. As for you four, you will continue to work on this branch.
What?
As what, sir? Museum pieces? No. Allow me to explain. Goods and passenger services have been running at a loss for years. The stone trains are a different matter. They've consistently gone up in profitability. Even with the quarry's current predicament, they're on track to meet their quotas. And once the new crusher is installed, its output should increase. Therefore, I was able to persuade Dr. Beeching to redesignate the Farquhar branch as an industrial line. You did what? How'd you manage that, sir? It was a mixture of negotiation, business acumen, and a hint of deviousness. You devious, Sir Topham?
Ooh.
Quite. We held our meeting in my office. On my desk just so happened to be a copy of the Railway Series book, Branch Line Engines. Is that the one where I crash into the station master's house? It is, and since you've become the poster boy for that series, I asked the good doctor how it would play out if he were to close Thomas's branch line. And he bought that? I was surprised too. I thought for sure he wouldn't care. Maybe some part of him is human after all. Did I say that out loud? What was that, sir? Thank you, Percy. So yes, this branch will remain open, but in a new form. We will also continue running tourist trains, since those are another service that have steadily gone up. What about the Waterton branch, sir? Will we still be helping out with that? Yes, but I may only assign one of you at a time from now on. I expect that with its new designation, this line will become rather busy. Sir Topham was right about that. No longer encumbered by underperforming services and facilities, the Farquhar branch flourished. The new crusher did wonders for the quarry, allowing them to purchase 2 more. After that, there was no slowing it down. Trains loaded with stone poured down the line like never before. Coupled with the ongoing tourist traffic, the branch was transformed from a loss maker into one of the most profitable in Britain. I dare say this was the one decision made by Dr. Beeching that was universally praised. As for the good doctor, he left Sodor a few days after visiting Farquhar. He went on to make further cuts and changes to BR and remains a divisive figure to this day. Many say he was a mindless hacker who had no regard for the people and communities he was affecting. Others say he must have done something right or British Railways wouldn't have endured for another 30-odd years. I tend to lean towards the former opinion, especially since his actions were instrumental in making my next story happen.
Cuba! Oh shit. So I did call it. Cuba is coming back. Oh my god. Well, hopefully he gets thrown in the slammer this time. But as Victor says, which I'll try and sync in with the outro, that story I'll have to wait for another day. End video right now. No, not actually. Right, well, I think it really does emphasize, like, the interpretation of Dr. Beeching. I think it was very accurate, the interpretation of Dr. Beeching here. Obviously, like, I don't actually know that much history about him. Like, obviously, I need to, like, look up my facts on him. But I think it shows there's a real difference between, yeah, he was an absolute douchebag, but I think there's a real difference between someone who's villainous, quote unquote villainous, and someone who's controversial. And I think he's certainly controversial. So he's not necessarily bad. He's just got a very business orientated mindset. Like, he's looking for best ways to kind of improve the economy, and the ways he goes about it require sacrifices and from, like, other people who make the railways their living. So and I think that's illustrated really well. And I do like that ending. How they make Farquhar an industrial branch. So it'd be interesting seeing, like, if it's only one person working on it, if Victor goes anywhere with that. And obviously massive cliffhanger at the end of this. So Johnny Cuba is back. If you don't know who he is, then basically you know who he is. Surely you know who he is. He is he who shall not be mentioned. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to the next episode. And like I said at the beginning of this video, thank you so much for making it possible for me to make 100 videos on this channel. And a massive thanks to this little munchkin. Come here. Massive thank you to this little munchkin for joining me on this reaction. So it's so good to have her back in a video. And again, let me know if you want me to make her a permanent addition to my Stories of Sodor reactions. I definitely would like to bring in for, like, special occasions on other reactions, you know, like finales and like subscriber milestones. I would like to bring her in on special occasional reactions. Yeah, again, another really solid episode from Victor, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. This is Little Al speaking. Drop the video a like if you enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time.